Bruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Peites Amud Beis at the very top, the new Mishnah. The Mishnah discusses when a person is included in a chabura for a carbon Pesach, he may not allow another person to be included together with him in that chabura without the permission of others in that chabura. Even if he gives that other person, he wants to include only his own portion. Our Mishnah discusses when he then does include somebody else without the permission of others. Says the Mishnah, one who includes somebody else with his own portion that was not given reshus by the rest of the chabura. The chabura can give this fellow his portion and say, and they will eat in two different chaburos. That fellow will eat together with his friend that own portion of his, while the rest of the chabura eat their portion separately. Ask the Gemara right away. If included in the chabura is somebody who's a glutton, here's a euphemism for somebody who's a glutton. It says echad mehen yafois, where yadav shel echad mehen yafois means that his hands, referring to somebody who's quick to eat a lot of food. Can they say to him, take your portion and go? Do we say matzi amar lahu ha kabiltun? Do we say that he can say to them in response, behold, you had accepted me unconditionally, and therefore I can eat any amount that I would like? Or perhaps they can say to him, when we accepted you as part of the chabura, we did so as a tikkun for the zevach, for the Karban Pesach, namely that we should all eat an equal portion so that there won't be any left over of the meat of the Karban Pesach. But that you should eat more than us, we did not then accept you for that. Gemara tries to then bring a following proof. Toshma. What is then going to then be the answer to this question? We have two different studim. Let's bring a proof. Toshma. One who appoints somebody else, he chooses somebody else to be together with him on his own chelik of his carbon. Rashoim b'nei chabur litein lo shaloi. The b'nei chabura can give that fellow his portion and say, go eat with your friend. He will eat separately from them, and they will eat separately, and their chabur and their own group. My time, what's the reason? Is it not for the same case that we just described? Because one of them is a glutton, and therefore they can say to him, go eat separately, and we'll eat separately. Whereby, if that's the case, they're really saying to him, we did not accept you to eat any way that you want, and therefore so to over here. They can say, we did not accept you to go ahead and take somebody else included in your chabura, to take somebody else with who was not accepted by the chabura. If you want to say that somebody who's a glutton could say to them, but you accepted me, after all, unconditionally, then let this person also be in the same category and say back to them, don't send me away, I want to eat together with you. And since that's not the case, they could send him away. L'char, we have a proof, like the tzad that is saying that we did not accept you to eat no matter any amount that you would like. Amrei, they say, Loi, you have no proof from here because deyo is shiny. When you have many people, that is different. And therefore, the inami travayu kechad mi bnei chabura hu da'achle, that even if the two of them, this fellow and the one that he invited to be included, were like the bnei chabur that are eating with them, matzi amrei lei, they can still say to him, delo nichalon inish nuchra gaban. We do not want a stranger to be included with us. In other words, we appointed all of those who want to be included in the chabura. But to bring people from the outside, that's not comfortable for us. And therefore they have the right to say that you can eat separately, but not together with us. Toshma, the Gemara now wants to try to bring a proof from somewhere else. Hashamish she'ochel kizayis baser b'tzarat tanur. You have a shamish who was included in a chabura, and while he's preparing for the Korban Pesach, he begins eating a kazayis of the Korban Pesach. So he's eating it in a place that's separate from where they are sitting. Im haya pikeyach. Now since he started eating a kazayis, he cannot go ahead and leave that area to eat with them. So it says, if he's a pikeach, he's wise, he's smart, then he will fill up his stomach with the Korban Pesach, meaning he will eat completely over there, where he's situated. However, if the Bnei Chabur want to do a favor for him, then they can go ahead and come to him and sit beside him and eat the Korban Pesach together with him. Div Rabbi Yehuda, those are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. The Gemara makes a dik. Ratzu in lo ratzu loy. Only if the Bnei Chabur want to again do a favor for him and go to him and sit next to him to eat together with him, they can do so, but they don't have to do so. That's the Gemara's diuk. Va'amai asks the Gemara. Neima lehu hakabiltoin. Let him say to them, but you accepted me unconditionally, and therefore, the same way that he can say to them, that he cannot, and therefore, since he cannot say them, you can unconditionally. Therefore, lechara, we have a proof that over here too, he can. They can say he cannot say to them, you accept me unconditionally, and therefore, if you're eating more than your portion like a glutton, then they can go ahead and say, go ahead and eat separately. The Gemara says you have no proof from here either. Why? Because shiny hasam. Because they can say to him that we accepted you on condition that you will matriach yourself to come to us. But to hassle, to matriach us, to go to you, that we did not accept. So there's no proof from here either. The Gemara further tries to prove. Toshma, b'nei chabura shaya yadav shel echad mehen yafois, a group where one of them was a glutton. Rashoin loymar toil chelka say they can say to him, take your portion and go. V'loy oid, and not only that, ella afilu chamisha v'asusi boiles, even 5 who are eating together, not a Korban Pesach. During the rest of the year, they get together, they eat. Each one gives his portion of amount of money that is costing for this Suda, and they all then buy the Suda together to eat together, called Siboilis. So it says, Rashoin loymar loy, they can say to this glutton, Tol chelkacha v'tzei, go, take your portion, your equal portion, and go out, because we don't want you to eat up the rest of our meal. Shma mina, here we have an explicit proof from the ratio of this brisa. It states that when you have a glutton amongst the group, they can go ahead and send them away to eat separately. So therefore, in our question, when we asked, is it a Bnei Chabru who has a glutton amongst them, can they send them away? Certainly we say yes. Indeed, we have a proof that they can say yes, and we didn't accept you on condition that you can eat any amount of food that you would like from our Korban Pesach. Ask the Gemara now on this brisa. Okay, we approved like the tzad that we said in our question. Now the Gemara wants to then analyze the brisa. The brisa stated in the Seifa that v'loy oid ella afilu chamisha v'osu siboilis. Ask the Gemara, my v'loy oid, what is this v'loy oid coming to add? The Gemara explains, lo mi boy kamar. It was coming to say lo mi boy. Not only lo mi boy pesach de motzi amre le ki kabil noch letikune zevicha. Not only in the case of Korban Pesach where they're able to say to this fellow that we only accepted you as a tikkun for the Korban Pesach, that we should equally share in the meat of the Korban Pesach, so that there will not be noisar. Even when it comes to siboilis, where there's not an issue of Korban Pesach as a tikkun for the zevach, but rather it's just a matter of company. The tzavta, they want to get together and connect with each other, companionship. Still, Rashoin loymar loy tel chelkecha say they can still say to him, they take your portion, your equal portion, and go and eat separately. The Gemara brings another version. This was not what we were asking. This is the question that we're asking. When you have a chabura, can the chabura mechalek give equal portion to each person, even if they do not necessarily all agree that they want to receive a separate individual portion. Oi, einan rashon l'chag, they're not able to do so. They have to eat together communally. Toshma, let's bring a proof. B'nei chabura shahayu yadav shel echad mehen yafois. B'nei chabura. It states that had one fellow. This is what we brought before the brisa before, who had one fellow who was a glutton. Rashoin loymar, they can tell him, Toil chelkich say, take your portion and leave. Yadav yafois in. The Gemara makes a diuk. Only somebody who is a glutton can they say that too. Ein yadav yafos loy. But somebody who is not a glutton, just to say, I want you to take your separate portion and eat individually, that you cannot do. Shma mina, and therefore we can prove from here that indeed that you cannot, against the wills of the Bnei Chabura, apportion out each one a separate chelek, a portion to eat individually. Rather, they have to eat together as a communal Chabura. Gemara brings the following Maisa: Rav Pape, Rav Huna, Breid, Rav Yehoshua, Arevu, Rifta, Bahadi, Hadodi. It states over here that Rav Huna, Breid, Rav Papa, the Reid Rav Yehoshua ate together with Rav Papa. They ate bread together, a meal together. Ada Ochil, Rav Huna, Breid, Rav Yehoshua, Chada Ochil. When Rav Huna, Breid, Rav Yehoshua was eating at the pace of one portion, Rav Papa Arba. Rav Papa ate much quicker. He ate even 4. Omar Le, Rav Huna, Breid, Rav Yehoshua said to Rav Papa, Plagli, separate with me, meaning split it with me equally. Why are you eating so much quicker? I want you to split it with me. Omar Le. So Rav Papa's response is Kabiltoin, that you accepted unconditionally that we would eat together. The Gemara asks, or he asks Rav Papa all of the questions, meaning what we asked before. The question that we asked before, namely in the first 2 braisos, when we stated over there, in the case of Hamane Acherim, in the case of Hashamish, they asked these questions on Rav Papa. And we also rejected and we answered those questions as well, that those are different. And therefore you have no proof from there that you can go ahead and say that, and indeed say to him that he must split it. The Gemara then says that he asked Rav Papa from the Brais of Bnei Chabura, that the Bnei Chabura, they themselves were mechalik, and they said to him, go ahead and tol chelkech v'tzei. Or Marley, no hasam over there in regards to Korban Pesach is different. That's because they said that we accepted you in regards to Korban Pesach because we had a chabura, a portion that each one should get an equal amount, so that we'll finish up the meat. There shouldn't be any noisar. But over here it's different. The 2 of them are eating together as friends, as comrades. Eisvei, the Gemara asks Siboilis, for the sake of the Bryce, as a Siboilis, there, it's not talking about Korban Pesach, just people eating together. Plagle, indeed, Rav Papa then split together with him. The Gemara says, Ozal Ariv Bahadi Ravina. Subsequently, Rav Huna, Breid Rav Yehoshua, went to eat with Ravina. Ad Ochil Rav Huna, Breid Rav Yehoshua, Chada Ochil. When Rav Huna, Breid Rav Yehoshua ate one portion, Ravina Tamnia, Ravina ate so much quicker, he ate 8 portions. Amar, Rav Huna Breid Rav Yehoshua stated, he said, Meya Papi v'lochada Ravina. I have a preference to eat with 100 of Rav Papas than not to eat with 1 Ravina.